Hey,
Brian,
gents. How's it
Damn.
going?
This guy got a better beard than me.
welcome.
See, I was not prepared for this.
I was
My
inspired.
identity.
You have great style, good taste.
I got a good barber.
What are the
So, yeah.
parameters for a good beard? There's sort of
Oh, there's many. There's
width,
many. And
length,
girth.
thickness. Yeah.
Also,
Mustache connection, mustache
yeah,
height.
fullness. I think there's sort of like
Wow.
I
Shape.
know. I mean, do you get people coming up and saying, "Hey, man, I love your beard"? I guess it's a weird part of like male culture and beard culture in some ways. That this is like the only, yeah, like men with their wives will approach me and say, "Oh, I like your beard." Like, thanks,
It's
bro.
always men. Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of men
yeah.
are interested or want to touch it, which is the weird part.
Yo, that is a
Honey, you got
no.
to touch this.
You know, fucking grub your hands off my beard. All right, Brian,
Wow.
you're the co-founder of RareBetSports. We've kind of had a bit of a run here this week talking to some folks that are in the gaming, gambling, betting sort of space. Can you give us the TLDR and what you're building and what makes it different?
Of course. So hi everyone. My name is indeed Brian, and I am the co-founder of RareBetSports, and I'm very happy to be here on the show talking to you guys today. At RareBetSports, we have launched a product called RareLink, which is the foundation of a permissionless on-chain daily fantasy sports protocol. It allows anyone to play, compete, and win in a skill-based, which is the most important part, crypto native environment. So when it comes down to sports betting, it's a big differentiator between skill-based games, games of skill, and games of chance. And DFS, daily fantasy sports, falls under games of skill. So we've really built our foundation of the app under this carve-out called the UIGEA carve-out, which allows for to operate. Yeah, that's the app.
Interesting.
Anyone
Okay.
can log in. It's easy to click around. It's very intuitive. And you can put together between 2 to 7 players, create your fantasy lineup, and win up to 100x.
Okay, interesting. So, I mean, to me, a lot of the fantasy sports that we've seen have been sort of like a way to go play in the United States ahead of hopefully rolling out a more deeper playing in the broader sort of sports betting market space. I'm not going to ask you that question directly, but I'm curious, like, is this sort of like you do lean more into like enabling the entertainment sort of experience, the gaming experience around here, or is there some sort of like you're talking about a protocol? Is there some interesting crypto dynamics on the back end that are unlocking new types of potential games or experiences?
Yeah, I think there's 2 things to touch on there. You're right. It's very experiential. This is a supplement to fans watching the game who want to increase their viewing experience. And when you're dialed in on a game and you're following along on your phone and you're watching your lines go up, if you're going to hit your under, if you're going to hit your over, it can be a thrilling experience. So at its core, it is an experiential process. And I think the latter part of your question was more around how this looks.
Well, just more, what's the crypto mechanism and stuff underneath? Like, are you, what does your protocol unlock beyond just the entertainment experience?
So I think the first thing we realized as we were building this, unlike a traditional sports book where there's tons of data on chain for money line bets, which you would do on any normal sports book, there was very little or no verifiable data for player props, which is what DFS is based off of. So how one individual player performs versus which team won or lost. And that distinction is what makes something a game of skill or a game of chance. And we had to build an oracle to take all this Web2 data and then bring it over onto the blockchain, in our case, Monad Testnet, which is EVM. And we are, basically taking this data from the Web2 world and bringing it onto Web3 so everyone can use stable coins to enhance that experience.
Yeah, I mean, as someone building in this space, I presume you have a personal relationship with sports betting. I'm curious what led you to create RareBetSports and also specifically focus on these more skill-based games. How does it relate to your personal experience of betting on sports?
I think when we started out initially, we did have a sports book in mind, and we actually mostly built it out. But when you look at barriers to entry, it was much easier to break into this market that doesn't require a medallion system where you have to get the same licensing you would with a sports book. And you can operate in unregulated states here in the US as well as globally without these licenses, which can cost tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars to acquire. So the barriers to entry were much lower. And we also found that in today's economy, with a social media economy, the teams aren't necessarily the heroes anymore. You might not care about the Dodgers at all. You might hate the Dodgers, but you're interested in what Shohei Ohtani is doing, or you're interested in what LeBron James is doing, but you hate the Lakers. So this brings it back to a personal level instead of a team level, as in today's economy, these athletes are the superstars, not the teams. So that was also a draw for us. And I think another thing that is also really interesting is when we're looking at Web 2 sports bettors, traditional sports bettors, the guys that are on Prize Picks, the guys that are on Underdog and DraftKings, Pick 6. There was recently a study conducted by Zero Hash. It came out like 2 weeks ago, and we loved it. We ate this study up. It was like everything we were looking for. And what it conducted was they spoke to 500 active Web 2 sports bettors. And what they found out was 55% of these Web 2 guys, even though they weren't betting on Web 3, they were already holding crypto to some degree. So they were exposed. 70% of these people, of these DFS players, they want stablecoin funding options, and they would use them if available. And 76% would switch to a platform instantly if it had an instant payout, such as RareLink. So I think a lot of these things and theories and our thesis was to some degree validated with this study. And we got a bunch of great information we've been leaning on and kind of hypothesizing about.
So one of the edges that crypto gives you is this instant payout opportunity?
Yes, and it's really attractive to DFS users. They want their payout and they want it fast. But blockchain rails is perfectly conducive to that, especially on Monad testnet with high throughput, low fees, which is great.
Okay, so gambling and porn intrigue me, not for the obvious reasons, but I think they are both markets that really forced founders, builders, marketers to dive into organic. Obviously, the main ad networks were not available to them. So I'm curious, what have you learned about like taking a product like this to market in those environments?
You have to own the channels. In a lot of cases, you have to build your you're right. There are places we can't advertise. There are places we can't go, and traditional marketing methods are not available to us in some cases. So it really helped us or pushed us to get creative with how we create and own all of our distribution channels. At the moment, I think we have independently 14 different distribution channels for outreach to try to push people from top of funnel, mid, bottom. And I think that was a challenge, a unique challenge, but it also opened up a ton of doors and helped us get creative and market in ways that most people wouldn't.
You're on Monad testnet, you mentioned. What is it that drove you to the Monad ecosystem? And do you think you'll stick around there?
Yeah, so I could give you the boilerplate, such as the community's amazing.
Well, yeah, I don't want the boilerplate. Don't. If you lead with, I'm going to give you the boilerplate. No, give us the real. Give us the real.
The Monad team has been incredibly supportive throughout this process. We've been working with them for maybe 2 years, which is a long time. I believe we were one of the first projects that they kind of onboarded into the ecosystem very, very early, way before testnet launch, way before the devnet launch. And growing with them has been an incredible experience. We flew out to Bangkok for their Monad Madness pitch competition, where we took home first place, which was exciting, both myself and Zach, my partner. But beyond that, they've opened up a ton of doors for us, intros for us. They've really acted like a great ally to have in our court. We do absolutely intend on staying. But with that said, the beauty of Monad is it is EVM. So it still opens up many doors for scaling and expansion in the future.
For your users, does it do they need to know about Monad, or is that abstracted away?
100% abstracted away. In a perfect world, our product, you would log in and you wouldn't even really need to know you are interacting with the blockchain. A Web 2 user could come on and convert their money, their USD, to stable. And other than the stable coin, there really is no indication that these are on-chain interactions. And I think a lot of that was influenced by the beautiful UX UI that Top Shot nailed early on, where you could log in. You didn't know these were NFTs because they're moments. You're not even really aware you're interacting on chain, or this is on a blockchain, which was on Flow, still is. And I think we took a lot of that to abstract away and kind of obscure all the blockchain elements underneath a beautiful UX UI.
So we've talked to a number of teams that are building in yet to be launched L2 or blockchain spaces, and I get a variety of responses from maybe frustration from how long it's taken to get to mainnet for some of them, to others who said that testnet is just an incredible place to launch a product to start, and that more people should just really embrace that sort of vibe. Where do you sort of land on that?
Both sentiments are fair. For me personally, testnet was an incredible opportunity. I don't know how we could have gotten anywhere else to iterate, to test, to really get gritty, to make take risks that we would not have been able to take had we been live. And basically using these Mon test tokens has enabled us to really figure out what is best for the platform and prove it out, when that's much more difficult to do when you're live. So I think you're right. There has been quite a long time coming with testnet. But I feel that each week, each month, we expand and we learn more and we optimize. So in terms of optimizing a platform for an early stage startup, it kind of was a blessing to be able to take that time to do things the right way instead of rushing through it. So I understand both sentiments, but for us personally, it was mostly positive.
Okay, I've got one last really important question.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a crypto carp?
I think I landed on it years ago because Crypto Camel was taken. I thought a camel.
I knew there was a great answer behind it.
Water. I thought it would be like retaining currency. So I went with Crypto Carp, and ever since then, I just kind of loved it.
Okay.
So
I just thought maybe a big carp guy, you've got a pond or something like that could be the thing, but that's stuff.
I don't own a carp, but someday I will.
That's the dreams, baby. I love it. Keep that top of the mountain in mind. All right, Brian, really appreciate you hopping on with us today. Pleasure to chat with you, and I wish you continued success as, I guess, mainnet approaches.
Thank you so much, and thank you both. It was great chatting, and thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, great to meet you. Thanks.